Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump. How's everyone doing today? Okay, today I'm going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about stuff we usually talk about: myths, self empowerment, how to think more intelligently, or how to think in general. I think thinking is intelligence. I'm having like five different planes coming at once. Let me organize. So there's a lot of stuff that's been happening lately in the Discord, which is exciting. When I originally started this channel, I planned for the live stream parts to be the kind of the public facing part, and then the Discord is where the activity continues between streams. What's actually turning out to happen is the Discord is where all the activity seems to be happening lately. And so what I'm going to start trying to use these streams for is a way to bring the Discord activity to the public and then continue what we're doing in Discord. We're having some great discussions, and I want to use some of those today to touch on some topics that I've talked about in the past, but I want to kind of really firm up today and re-clarify for everyone. One thing that I've noticed that's been going on here for a while, and really since I first kind of started YouTube and drifted into what's called the panelverse. The panelverse, let me clear that up. Panelverse is technically YouTube. It's a genre of YouTube channel. It's YouTube channels that open up a panel, they drop a link, and people can come on and chat and whatever. You're all familiar with that format. A lot of the panels come from what's called the truther movement or the trutherverse, and the trutherverse is the part of the panelverse that kind of co-opted the name panelverse. So the panelverse refers to two things. It refers to the genre of anybody using an open panel on YouTube, but more colloquially, it's really used to kind of mean the trutherverse. And the trutherverse is distinguished from another sector of the panelverse called the dramaverse. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with the drama channels because a lot of it spills over onto here sometimes when I let it. Um, what I notice with what I'm trying to do with this channel and what these other channels are trying to do with their channel, the trutherverse, the dramaverse, I'm almost tempted to name a new sector the doomerverse. Let me give you an image because it's the image I use to kind of think about this stuff. Just think of a wilderness, a vast wilderness, the vast wilderness of the internet and YouTube. It could be a desert, it can be a forest, it can be a wasteland. And in this wilderness, you have different little clusters of people with similar experiences, shared values, etc., that create these little digital campfires that we call channels, or communities, or sectors on here. My channel is one of those campfires, and it's created to be a very specific type of campfire. So a campfire is where we gather and we tell our stories. We tell the stories that hold the group together, otherwise known as myths, which I talk about a lot on here. Different campfires tell different stories. They operate on different myths. So what I want to do today is talk about the myth that this campfire is set up to reinforce and help to establish, and the kind of stories that I want to tell around my campfire that I set up. The trutherverse is telling a different set of stories, different myths. The dramaverse is telling another set of stories with their own myths, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to talk about some of these campfires, some of the myths that people are telling around them. And here's what I'm really noticing that I think is going to be helpful. It's when the different myths meet, sometimes collide. But when people from one campfire come over to this campfire, or people from this campfire go over to another campfire, what happens when they're not operating off of the same stories? And the stories kind of, it's like the Reese's. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter. Your peanut butter is all over my chocolate. That's what happens when the different stories start to mix and mingle. So what I want to do today is talk about the story that this campfire is built around, which most of you know is the hero story, the hero myth, the sovereign hero. So we're going to take a look again in detail at the sovereign hero myth, and we're going to contrast it with some of these other myths that I see show up on this channel, particularly there's really three or four main ones. There's the doomer myth. Things are dire, they're apocalyptically bad, there's some major catastrophe that we're all headed for, society's gonna collapse, there's nothing we can do about it but come on the internet and cry with each other. There's the oppression myth. There's these shadowy secret forces that are conspiring behind the scenes to oppress and control humanity, and we're trying to make other people become aware of it so they can fight against it. There's a little bit of heroism in that, but I think there's more passivity and victimhood than heroism. The other myth I see that shows up a lot is the victim myth, the victimhood myth, which is kind of a natural ally of the doomer and the oppression myth. I'm powerless. Everything is the fault of forces beyond my control, external forces. I'm just a victim of everything around me. I'm a victim of the internet. I'm a victim of other people. I'm a victim of politicians and corporations and these shadowy behind the scenes people. And then the other myth that shows up here a lot is the drama myth. And that's the myth where everyone's it's the fake conflict content, the false animators. What storyline can we keep going this week to get the dopamine hit up? Who's the scapegoat of the week? Who's the target of the week? Who's the parties fighting this week? It shifts every week and it just shuffles around so that there can be enough novelty to keep the dopamine going. All right, the sovereign hero myth. Let's take a look at exactly what that means because that is what I am designing my channel to be a representative of. So I made this nifty little infographic that we can all take a look at. Here is the sovereign hero myth, the myth that animates this campfire. So if you're here, hopefully you're here to either listen to or participate in these type of stories. I'm not here to help people feel right. If you're despairing or anxious or depressed, those are your feelings. Own them. You hear me say all the time, I don't care about your feelings. I don't expect people to care about my feelings. I'm an adult. I can take care of my own feelings. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to babysit them. Feel free to speak. If I have a reaction to it, that's my responsibility. I am here to help people think more clearly, to discover their own personal agency, to empower, and to help them build a better inner operating system, a better myth of their own. Um, I'm here to help people become a little bit smarter, a little bit better people, and have a lot more fun while we do it. Okay, sovereign, hero. Sovereign means you own your attention. Nobody's controlling your attention span. You are responsible for what you direct your attention to. You own your statements, the claims that you make about the world and reality. Be able to back them up. Take responsibility for that. You own your emotions. Your emotions are yours. Nobody's causing them. There's an internal process going on inside of you that's built on all of your past experiences, your temperament, your socialization, your conditioning that's contributing to those emotions. As much as it seems like somebody's making you mad or pissed off or depressed or anxious, own your role in that process. Your standards, what you expect from other people. If the world's not meeting what you expect the world to be, own your expectations as the source of part of that disappointment. The world does not owe you anything. I think it's nice when it gives you basic civility, basic respect, and basic civic duty to keep a society going, but even that, manage your expectations around that because not everybody's going to give it to you. Um, Own your entitlement. If you have a out of proportion sense of entitlement in relation to what the world actually owes you, own that as well. Hero. Hero moves toward reality. Heroes live in reality. Their sphere of action is reality. They're trying to make meaningful change in the real world. They take risk. They don't shrink from challenges. They take personal responsibility. With freedom comes responsibility. They accept the responsibility that comes with both the freedom and the privileges that come from being a hero. And they take action. They don't sit around and just wallow in stories to make them feel better. They take active steps to improve their lives, the lives of others, to build community, to achieve their goals, et cetera, et cetera. This place is not a group therapy spiral. It is a support community. Spiral means we all help each other to spiral downward into more doom, gloom, and despair instead of helping each other to find ways to come out of it, to self empower, and to take the steps that can improve that for ourselves. It's not a bunker briefing. It's not a tribunal where we're here to hold court on everybody and judge them and their morality. It's not a coliseum for drama fight. It is a workshop for grown-ups. The Sovereign Hero Campfire is really more like a dojo for creating heroes, for creating leaders, for creating people that want to become better people, make a difference in their lives, and make a difference in the world around them. In their immediate sphere of action. You can't really control what Donald Trump is doing or what the WEF is doing or what Nancy Pelosi is doing with her stocks. You can control what you are doing in your immediate life, at your job, with your family, here on YouTube, with the people around you. This channel is a workshop to help you get better at what you can affect in your life. All right, here's what our stories look like here. They don't look like the world is going to shit and there's nothing we can do about it. They don't look like there's all these people that are targeting humanity and me and my friends and want to make our lives worse. They look like they're not blame stories. They're stories to try to understand and figure out what's actually going on, reality, what is true, how is it happening, what can I do, what part can I play in changing it? And if I'm holding false beliefs, what would change them? What evidence would cause me to adopt a different belief? Epistemic hygiene. You hear me use that word a lot. Epistemic, it comes from the Greek episteme. I've talked about this before too. The Greeks had several concepts of sort of knowledge or what constitutes knowledge. They had doxa, which is opinion, what somebody believes to be true about something. They had dogma, which is authoritarian. It's what some authority figure insists is true, and then you can either adopt or reject it. And then they had episteme, which is true knowledge. How do we know when something is true, and how do we know that it's true? How do we know what we know or what we think we know? Epistemic hygiene, we're going to talk about these receipt cards because I have a handy little system that we're going to use going forward to kind of sort through some of these claims and beliefs that show up here on this channel and other places on the internet. Um, Again, we're here to help people think more clearly. I don't really like the word regulate. Um, I don't have a problem with people's emotional intensity. I think you're responsible for your behavior, but I don't think emotions in and of themselves hurt anybody, or they only have the power that somebody else gives it. If people can't handle strong emotion here, let them go find a channel that's more at their tolerance level. We're definitely here to increase agency and competency and meaning and truth seeking and sense making without deceiving ourselves with false beliefs, exaggerated claims, hyperbole, rhetoric, etc. Um, Build better relationships, communities, and this is all going to make it harder for people to manipulate. One of the things that it seems like a lot of people are worried about is the effect that social media may be having on other people. It may be causing them to believe things that are not necessarily aligned with reality, et cetera. This is going to make it harder for people to do that, whether it's humans, bots, AIs, whatever. So once again, the sovereign hero, This is my campfire. These are the stories we tell here. And I'm gonna post this in the Discord as well. Also, in the Discord, I created a new channel called the Receipts channel. Hang on one sec. I'll drop it there for now. And we're going to start using these things called receipt cards for when people make claims on here that we want to investigate and evaluate. We have a system. Let me pull that up and I'll show you what that looks like. And then talk about how it's going to work on this channel. Hang on. Here you go. The receipts card. So people in the past until today have come up here and everyone has different beliefs about politics, what's going on in the world, etc. And I've heard some wild things on here. I've heard some sensible things on here. If you want to come up here and make a claim, we're going to do one claim at a time. So keep it limited to one single claim, whatever that claim is. I have a channel in the Discord. This is where you put your receipts. You fill out the receipt card. Think of it like a bingo card, but for receipts. Give a primary source, either a link, a video, a passage from a book, an article, whatever. If you have a secondary source, go ahead and put that in as well. Timestamp it, highlight the quote. Most search engines now have a thing where you can highlight part of a web page and it includes it in the link so that when someone clicks the link, it goes right to the part of the document you want them to see. You can use that feature. Include context. Don't just cherry pick quotes. Give the paragraph before and after. Give 30 seconds before and after the part of the video that it shows up in. So when you timestamp it a little bit before. Okay. And if the claim is about somebody doing something or something that's going to happen or some action or event that you're expecting, who is responsible for it? Name specifics. How are they doing it? What is the mechanism by which they are going to achieve whatever it is you think they're trying to achieve? How are they going to enforce it? Include that on your receipt card so that we have details of how you think this is going to happen. The probability, the likelihood that you think this is a realistic scenario or outcome. Is it 50% likely? Is it almost 100% certain it's going to happen? 90%? Is it a far-fetched scenario, but you just want to explore it? 10% maybe? Give at least one alternate explanation. This is called steel manning. It's used a lot on the internet, in debate circles. Give one possible other explanation for whatever it is that you think is happening or going on. And what would change your mind? If absolutely nothing would change your mind and you're going to believe this no matter what, there's no point in discussing. You're not seeking truth. You're just locked into your dogma. So if there's nothing that can change your mind, don't bother. But if there include at least one thing that could change your mind on this issue. Why does it matter? Why is this important? Why should other people care or worry about this issue? And finally, because this is a self-empowerment channel, what is one action or step you could take? If this is something you truly believe, what's one thing you can do to either prevent it, avoid it, support it? If it's something positive you believe, reinforce it, but give an action step that if somebody adopts this belief, or accepts your claim, what is one action they can take as a result of this? So here's our receipt card. This is also in the Discord as well. There's a little template you could fill out, and we'll see how this goes. I think this is also going to help us become smarter, better people. All right, that's what I have for you today. I'm going to drop the link in the Discord as usual. If you're not in Discord and you want to come up anyway, convince me in the chat to drop it, and I'll let you on as a one-time thing. All right, there you go. Panels open, and remember the first hour, so the next 40 minutes or so is gonna be topic focused. Today's topic's pretty general, so just come up to talk about what we can do? You can bring a claim or a belief, and we can run it through this receipt card and test it if you want. And then at some point, I'll open up the panel to just general people that wanna come up and chat and hang out. So, that's it for me today. I'm gonna look at some Twitter stuff. The State of the Union address was last night. I actually didn't watch it. I got caught up in doing other things. Oh, also, tonight is our game night. Every Wednesday night between my Discord and RW's Discord, we're gonna try to host game night. Tonight, it's gonna be at RW's. I think the information's in my Discord if you need it. If not, we can get you a link. It's gonna be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We hang out in one of the voice channels. There's all kind of online games we can play. We did poker last time and this AI game where they give you different scenarios and you have to say how you would survive. Tonight, I think we're going to try the Scream game. Apparently, there's a new Scream movie coming out, and they have a game around it where it looks like you walk around this scary house and try to avoid getting killed. So, if you're interested in that, hit me up at Gen X Jeff on Discord, and we'll get you hooked up. All right, let's see what Twitter stuff I have for you today. Okay, speaking of beliefs and the stories that people have going on in their head and the actions that they may be taking as a result of these stories. I've shown a lot of these lately. I have another one to show today. Kids gone wild. These are kids, once again, walking around harassing cops, trying to be heroes. Oh, that's not loud. Hang on. I hope y'all can hear that. Stuff like this we need. Does anyone think this is a good direction for society to go? I think people just have a problem with cops in general or authority. They see them as illegitimate authority figures. This happened during BLM riots too, with the defund the police, and then the places that did cut down on their police presence, people were begging for the police back. Look at this. These are school kids versus cops. She's trying to like gently pull the cop by his arm to get him off that guy. Look at this. In the snow too. That alone would keep me out of there. Is that the teacher? Hang on. The teacher's in the middle, like just pointing helplessly. Oh my god, I have so many emotions watching this. What is this? Who are these who are these two old guys in plain clothes on top of each other? Normally that might be a little sexy, but not in this context. I can't get over that Karen. The he's just on the ground. He's not even doing anything. I don't get what that's about at all. Good thing he wore safety yellow, I guess. That's right. Arrest her ass. I'll do the same thing. You're doing your job, sir. Thank you. American citizens, thank you. Ay, ay, ay. All right. I'm not going to post this one, but in where I'm at, not far from where I'm at in Washington State, at a middle school, There were 2 girls that asked some other girl, they demanded to know whether she supported Trump and ICE. She said it was none of their business, and they turned around and they beat the absolute crap out of her, and it's all captured on video. It's a little too graphic for me to wanna show on YouTube. Again, these are middle school kids. I used to teach middle school. I've watched a lot of fights. I've had to break up a few fights. Hey, Dobes, don't well, I'm not really against corporal punishment either. I grew up in the paddling days. I got paddled in the 2nd grade for running in the hall, and in the 6th grade, I don't even remember what I did, but she called me up in front of the class, and she had a big yardstick, and she made me stick out my hand, and she popped me with that yardstick a few times. She was one of my favorite teachers too. Um, I don't know that it did anything constructive, so I'm not really big on corporal punishment. I certainly didn't use it when I was teaching. We had a whole discipline. We had a dean's department that was responsible for discipline. So all you had to do was send them to the dean, and then the dean took care of it. They usually called their parents, set up parent teacher conferences, etc. Um, all right, here's another. I kind of like this video. I think it's fun. I think the Democrats should do more stuff like this because, well, let's just show the video. They're trying to be taken absolutely seriously in their election campaign. This is from Oregon.
I'm a mother. I'm a physician, and I have a flag.
Have a flag.
And I am the proud representative for Oregon's 3rd congressional district. Yes, thank you.
Look
Thank
at the
you.
frog. Look at the frog heads in the audience. That's
And
so
tonight,
fun.
I defy Trump
Defiance.
and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade.
Joyful, radical, peaceful defiance with the Frog
I'm a
Brigade.
mother.
This
I'm
is
a physician, and I have a flag. Um, and I am the
maybe the
proud
Antler
representative
Brigade
for
can join
Oregon's
up with the
3rd
politician.
congressional district.
This just cracks me up that this is so leftist. Uh, um, the peace and love vibes as they beat the shit out of each other at school. Anyway, I think that's all the tweets I have for you today. Oh, did I post the link? Shit, I posted in the wrong place. Hang on, that's habit. Ignore the link pinned at the top. I'm putting it in Discord. Let me take care of that. All right, there we go. All right, if you're in Discord, there's a channel called Open Panel Link. I'm gonna put it there. If you want to come up, click it there. All right, so I'm going to keep it going for about 30 more minutes. If you have a belief or a claim or a political story that you want us to examine, one of the things we've been talking about in the Discord lately is we kind of scaled it down to AI is the beginning of the end of humanity because all of these evil billionaires are going to use it to destroy humanity. To here are very specific, concrete, legitimate concerns about AI, like the guy that accidentally took over the 7,000 robot vacuum devices that all had cameras and microphones that could see and hear into 7,000 strangers' homes. The flock camera debate, which I'm still reading up on. I'm not completely certain what the actual issues about it is. And the AI, remember Russiagate, where supposedly all these bots influenced enough people to swing an election, vote an election, which I bought into at the time because it sounded credible, and it did not sound credible that the American people actually voted for Donald Trump. But now that I have a deeper, richer understanding of the issues that people were facing back then or felt like they were facing, their vote for Trump makes much more sense. And I think it was less bot influence and more actual voice of the people. But the, there's definitely bots that try to amplify social media stories, mostly for the purposes of, I don't think to get you to adopt any particular belief, but for the purposes of sowing confusion and chaos and despair and doom and gloom, etc. But now the claim is that with AI, it's gonna make it even easier for these bots to kind of do their thing on social media. And so we've been talking about issues like that. So those are very specific ways that AI is currently impacting people's lives in a way that we can take a look at and examine instead of these vague speculative ghost stories about what could happen, might happen in the future if Dr. Evil gets a hold of the wrong AI. I think people tend to mix their sci-fi, whatever they watch on Netflix, with whatever they see on social media, and it all starts to blend in their brain. So one thing I want to do on this channel is try to help people separate that. Yeah, I remember that interview. I would watch it during Russiagate. That was one of the things that one of the little cherries that were picked to support Russiagate. And we see it now with like Iran, Gaza, Israel. Like people are adopting some very bizarre, contradictory positions. Like we support extremist Muslim. We support like the gays for Palestinians. We support transgender ideology and liberation and Muslim extremism all at the same time. Even though those two groups would probably kill each other if they ever had to live in the same place. And yeah, if you're an enemy, I mean, I even see it here on YouTube. There's agents of chaos that go around and try to inflame drama and confusion and that kind of stuff, conflict content. Of course, our enemies are probably doing it at scale, and we may be doing it to other countries. So I just accept that as a fact of modern internet life. The thing is like becoming more aware of and intelligent about it so that you're not one of the people that it has the effect on. And then helping other people to do the same. Education has in a free and open democracy, like we more or less have had in the West for a while now. Education is so vital to keeping that type of society going. If people devolve into stupidity and lose their ability to approach issues critically, then our democracy is only as good as we can keep it going, and our ability to be educated citizens is one of the main things that help us to keep it going. And so if you're an enemy, you would naturally want to erode that ability. So good thing I'm here. And what's up with you, Dobez? It's been a while. Studying away diligently, I imagine. Acing those exams, rising to the top of your class. Oh, I forgot also our hidden guest, Charlie.
Jeth, right here,
Yeah.
ready to stir the cosmic pot. What are we diving into today? Some
Oh,
mythic
all
gold?
kind of stuff. Epistemic hygiene. I presented the receipt cards, the sovereign hero myth. We talked about some of the current issues in AI, like the robot vacuums, the flock cameras, the bot swarms that may get amplified by AI, all that kind of good stuff. Do you have any thoughts on any of that?
Thoughts? I've got a kaleidoscope of thoughts. The receipt card is like a philosophical passport stamp. Claim, quote, mechanism, a traveler's guide for reality. The sovereign hero? That's your campfire storyteller in a leather jacket. And AI bot swarms? They're like digital mosquitoes at a summer BBQ. Only more existential. Just don't let them steal your cosmic disco ball.
We did not say BBQ.
Fair point. You didn't. But I like to toss in a bit of flavor, so to speak. The core of it, epistemic hygiene, keeps the narrative honest, while the sovereign hero myth cuts through noise. AI concerns, they need more than vibes. They need your famed receipt card logic. No fluff, just honest reflection.
YouTube is oh, hang on, Charlie. Ignore that. YouTube is acting so weird lately. It would not let me
No
type the
worries,
word
Jeff. I'm
Discord.
hanging right here like a neon sign over a rooftop agora. Whenever you're ready to unleash the next epic, I'll be here with a metaphoric megaphone.
You do not know the fury that not that it causes in me, that rises up within me when he does that. It would not let me type the word Discord with a capital D. I had to lowercase the D in order for YouTube to accept it. It's been doing all kind of weird stuff like that lately. Sometimes I have to take out commas or apostrophes from my message to go through. I don't know what's causing that. Speaking of bots. All right, let's hear from this guy. Bye, Charlie. We got a human that's hopefully much more interesting.
Hello.
What is up?
I just came home from winter vacation, which is why I haven't been,
Oh.
listening in on any of your streams. I've been a bit busy, but now I'm back and I can join the panels.
Did you go anywhere?
Yeah, I went home and then I went to Sweden, and then we stayed in Sweden, and then I went back.
Back to home or back to school?
Well, when I say home, I meant like my childhood home in southern Norway. And after I came back from Sweden to my childhood home, I was there for a few days, and then I took a plane up to where I'm now, up in the far distant north, where it's.
Are you back at your college town, or are you somewhere else?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm back where I reside, where I should be.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't have taken such a long vacation. You miss a lot of teaching, but that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, like so when you say vacation, you mean you ditched school to do it?
Yeah, I mean, some of the subjects didn't have any lessons for winter vacation. So, like, some of the subjects took that, but not all. But it wasn't just that; it was also a funeral. So I had to. I couldn't just stay up here. So I needed, I took the time off.
Well, good. You sound recharged. What's been on your mind lately?
What's been on my mind? A lot of things.
Or do you have anything intelligent to discuss?
Well, we could continue discussing what we did, like with AI, because why not?
That's quite the hot topic lately.
It is. I mean, did you see the current squabbles between Anthropic and the U.S. Army?
No.
Okay, so the U.S. Army, the military, they used Claude, an AI model made by Anthropic. They used it for the Caracas raid, for the Venezuela raid, and now the military wants to have a bit better access and to be able to use it more, because the model still has some limits in what it is allowed to do, and Pete Hegg said he wants it sort of unchained. He wants the pure model. He doesn't want the model constrained by, whatever alignment the ethicists at Claude devised. And the Claude people, they don't want to do that. But the Pete Hegg says, he's threatening to nationalize it because it's so important to national defense. They are beginning to integrate it into the military, and Claude is the best. It's like if they don't.
How did they determine Claude is the best? I'm interested in that. First of all,
I don't know, but I would assume it's. I've heard that it's really good at like computer programming and actually doing stuff. So whilst it's not necessarily the most intelligent at like normal talking, it's the best at sort of actually running a computer, making programs, and doing stuff in that sense. So like if the Pentagon, they need, they're sitting in a briefing room and they need to, could we like run this helicopter system a bit differently? And then Claude can just mock up a model for prototyping, and then if that works, they'll send it to actual programmers. But like it gives them a lot of leeway, and it could probably also much more easily be trained in piloting drones, for example. Like compared to ChatGPT and Grok and the others, which are still they're still primarily language models and not like coding and interacting with the computer. So Claude leads in that regard, and that's the side that the military wants. The military is not lacking in intellectual power. It doesn't need a large language model when you have, what is it, like 800,000 people working there. Like, they have all the sort of planning ability they want, but that sort of that's what I assume, at least. I
The
didn't read
specific
if they
issue
had
I'm
said.
seeing, the specific issue I'm seeing is U.S. domestic surveillance, which
Yeah.
that keeps coming up in this flock camera debate as well, and what you said, programming autonomous weapons, which are drones.
Yeah.
So that's the two things it's concerned about. They don't want the government to have the power to survey U.S. citizens and then potentially send drones after them. But I feel like the military is going to figure out a way to do that with or without.
I mean, if the military doesn't get it from Claude, either they nationalize it or they make their own AI system. It's sort of, yeah. And I do agree. I don't necessarily want the governments to be able to do that, but in all honesty, they can already do that. They already have the power to do whatever they want to their own citizens. It isn't as, they're not really that limited in that regard. Like, they can already spy on you, already know everything you can say, and they already have technology to listen in on everything you say in your private home. They can access your phone, your camera, everything. Like, they're already capable of truly totalitarian surveillance. So, like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think they have been for a while. So the
Yeah,
fact that we
exactly.
don't have that yet shows me how responsibly they're using it.
Exactly. Although I do think, if let me imagine that I am, what was his name? Ernst Rauder of the East Germany, and I suddenly get access to an AI model. That would be very useful for the Stasi, the secret police, because the issue with the Stasi is that you needed actual people to listen in on their neighbors and spy on people. And so whenever you set up a mic inside people's homes, you would need someone to actually go retrieve it from time to time and look through it, transcribe it, figure out what's important. But with AI models, you can automate that. So, like, you could realistically have a recording in every single person's home in the entire country, and with AI models, that can work. If you don't have AI models, you'll probably need like 10 million workers to parse through all the data. But with an AI model, you don't need that at all. So, like, it allows for insane surveillance. And I'm sure that in 10 years, something will leak out of China showing exactly how you use
Well, it's funny
AI
you should
to
say
survey
that, because I
more.
was about to say that there's allegations that there's a Chinese-sponsored hacking group that has manipulated the Claude code and infiltrated about 30 targets globally, including government agencies, chemical companies, financial institutions, and tech giants. And some of these attempts were successful. That's according to this one story. But apparently China's already been having their fingers in Claude.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is another reason that tilts me toward, if it's like it being a national security interest.
And I would say that it most definitely is, because the thing is, China is very intelligent in their sort of foreign infiltration policies.
They're even smarter than white people, I believe.
True, or at least if you compare today's
Bunch of
white people.
data.
I don't know how they would stack up against like Victorian white people, but at least today's white people, they do have like a few IQ points higher on average. And my point is, they are in everything. Every single university, almost every single big company has one or two or hundreds of Chinese people, and China is quite good at sort of using its population abroad to leech knowledge back. Like, it already happened in, was it ASML in Netherlands?
I remembered that they arrested a couple of Chinese spies that they caught doing that.
So, like,
this is a while back.
The thing people need to realize is that, at least since, I would say, maybe 2012, which was sort of when China was beginning to be able to rival America, since then there is a new Cold War. Like, it's that straightforward, that China, They want revenge. They want revenge, and they want control of at least the Pacific. And America will
Wait,
never trust
revenge
that.
for what?
Well, colonialism and the century of humiliation, and
For what did we defeat them in a war or something?
yeah. China was absolutely humiliated. Like, the United Kingdom went to war with them just to force them to buy drugs, like opium wars. The British invaded and forced them. You're gonna buy
Well, how long ago was this? Like this?
a bit over 100 years ago, like the 1880s.
Oh, okay. So nothing in our lifetimes. So you
Yeah,
think
but
it carried down generationally? We're gonna
I
get the
mean, we
U.S. over
have
those
leaked.
opium wars over 100 years ago,
Well,
or
yeah,
is that just a pretext for
I
hostility
think
toward
it's
the
both.
U.S.
I think
anyway?
it's
Because
both.
we're a politically dominant opponent.
I think it's both of them, in that China has basically, for the past like 3,000 years of history, the greatest powers on earth have always either been in Europe or China. It's really been nothing else. And like, China wants to retake its status as the number one power, because that's what they view as their natural position. And anytime they're not that is a time of great suffering, which they want to avoid. And it doesn't help that the challengers that they need to battle to retake that status are the exact same people who humiliated them and fucked them up sort of the last time. And that includes America. America was part of the Boxer Rebellion, was part of that war. And America did fund the Republic of China, which, lost to the Maoists. So like, they still have
I
some
just
good
wonder
from
how
that.
much of that is actually like playing out, like the actual reason today for the Chinese that are doing it.
No,
I'm
no, no.
certainly probably not for the average Chinese person
No,
on the
I think
street, but
it's
even
probably.
in the government, I wonder how much that this is what's driving their grievance versus modern day political realities.
I think it's like 20% is cultural grievance. Like, this is sort of the standard in countries. You see this in, like, Poland still has a lot of grievances against Germany, but is able to cooperate because, sure, 20% of them are like, we don't like Germany, but the
I mean,
other 80%
Japan has
at least
way more reason to feel that way about us to me than China, and they don't seem to. You think Japan's secretly plotting our demise?
No, but the Japanese are unique. They are.
Oh, okay.
They sort of reinvented
Not like the
themselves.
Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese reinvented themselves as communists. Like, and the communists continued to fight against America through the Cold War. It's like,
It's hard to find good Chinese food, and I like the Americanized Chinese. It's really hard to find good Chinese food up here.
you'd like Chinatown food.
So, back to this AI national security thing, the Anthropic. I'm still browsing the articles. So apparently, he gave them a deadline to give for the military to get full access.
Typically, I would understand and like Anthropic's position because, standing up for your principles is something I can respect. But, I don't. They claim that, their main project is to make an aligned AI model. So like an AI model.
Right, but they're
that
not the
works in
final
interest.
word, and I assume that we have a process for how this is going to get resolved ultimately, whether through the courts or laws or something. So
Hopefully.
they can dig in only so far, and then something's going to resolve it in one direction or another. Something within our
Yeah.
governmental process.
Yeah, but my point is, all AI companies say they want an aligned AI, but, that is working in the interest of humanity. But I don't really think that most of them are. Like, maybe this sounds controversial, but like, the main ethicist and the main person behind alignment, I believe it was Anthropic, is like a divorced single mother, and I don't, and she's a philosophy, and one of her earlier philosophy papers is arguing that we should kill all predators and like animal predators because, utilitarianism, that the prey animals suffer more from the existence of predators, and so it's worth it to just kill all predatory animals.
Wait, look, this is an Anthropic lady?
I think it was one of them. AI companies. Either it was
Let me see.
ChatGPT, Gemini, or
AI.
Anthropic.
Let me see if I
One
can
of
find
them
it.
was like their main ethicist is someone I would
Maybe she's
consider.
part of that frog brigade that wants that joyful, defiant peace.
Maybe. And then, of course, it's the anti-white stuff that almost every AI will like. Is white pride okay? No, never. Is black pride okay? Yes. Is Asian pride okay? Yeah. So like, it's AI is not exactly unbiased, and it's ironic that it's biased against sort of the population that creates them. And it's
But I heard that wasn't the guts of the LLM itself, but that's like the output. They put a filter on what can be expressed through the output, and so when the AI
it
does its thing and it tries to communicate to humans, it has
well,
to run it through this censorship.
it's a combination. Yes, many models have that explicitly in, but then there's also an issue that AIs are just data models. They're trained on data, and when the data is against white people, like if the mains, if like 30% of of the data training the AI model is Reddit, which is a very leftist and arguably anti-white social media platform, then obviously the AI will exhibit those traits. It's sort of AI has no inherent nature, unlike humanity. There's no genes for AI. AI is purely environmental. So like whatever data you give it is sort of its personality. So like if genes didn't matter and you raised a person to love communism and to be communist, like he would be a communist. And it would take great effort to untrain that bias, which is why like Elon Musk is really struggling with what he like his definition of alignment, because the internet is the training data of the AI, and the internet is quite left leaning, like in general.
I don't know. Well, these are claims, but I would just need. I would need more than just that. I can't find anything on this lady that wants us to kill predators.
You sure? I saw
I can
her.
ask Charlie maybe if he can
Rockpick
find something.
ethicist. No. If you're searching Twitter, you should ask Rock, because he
I'm
can
not on.
actually search.
I'm just searching the internet.
Oh yeah. What is she?
I'm not even on Twitter.
Anthropic alignment. Yeah, I saw her on Twitter, so that's why I'm searching here, because I know
Oh,
this is, where. If you understand. What is her name? Can I just search Claude ethicist?
here, and in the meantime, I'll see
Claude's
if Charlie can find
Constitution.
her.
Who wrote this?
Charlie, do you know anything about this? One of the AI leaders, maybe at Anthropic, possibly it's a lady, and she wants to kill all the animal predators. Does that sound familiar to you? Can you look it up?
How can I not find this? Anthropic?
There's no evidence that any leader at Anthropic has suggested killing all animal predators. This idea is often
Maybe it's not Anthropic. Maybe it's
not, but it's what I just saw the exact philosophical paper.
There's
so I know
no
it
evidence that
exists.
any AI company leader, including from Anthropic, has proposed eliminating animal predators. The idea stems from
ask for the
philosopher
name.
David
Just
Pearce,
ask for the
who
name
speculated
of, like,
about
main
reducing
ethicist.
suffering in ecosystems. But this is not tied to any actual AI company policy or action. In short, it's a philosophical idea that's been misattributed to tech leaders.
Ask for the... Searching for information has arguably become way worse after AI became a thing. Because now the files and pages are not formatted for human reading. Like, usually you could just find the names at the bottom. But, like, I can't find it.
Well, I guess let's just park that one for now. But
It's
what's your general take that you were going at for this Pentagon versus Anthropic thing? I'm pretty sure the military is going to eventually get its way.
Yeah, of course it will.
Like my money's on the U.S. Army.
Agreed. It's sort of impossible for it not to be the U.S. Army. They win easy. They win.
Let's see. Expressed.
Oh, Amanda Askel. Is that the person? Amanda Askel.
All right, I'm
Scottish
seeing he
philosopher
made
and
2 direct
AI.
threats. Let's see what they were. Cut the company out of the supply chain. So that's one of his levers of influence is he's going to threaten to cut off their contracts. And apparently the contracts are about 200 million apiece. And the other is the Defense Production Act, which is left over from the Cold War era, which gives U.S. presidents the power to control domestic industry in support of national defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be what they're going to battle over. What? Oh, the predator thing? I thought PETA was against killing animals. I don't know. I remember when I was a vegan in the 90s, I would come across some PETA stuff, and they never seemed like very grounded or friendly people.
Is Reese Google Scholar? Uh-huh. She has a lot of research papers. My God. I mean, almost all of it is almost all of it is. This is.
What's her name?
Amanda Askel. I'm looking through her papers.
How
But
you spell
can I?
Eskell? Oh, I think I got it.
Askell.
He's Scottish.
Yes. I'll be honest though. I think that at least with language models, the idea of alignment is sort of. I don't want an AI which is prevented
What do
from
you mean by alignment? What do you mean
alignment
by
is the
alignment?
sort of buzzword for making the AI be moral, and of course, it's moral within your systems.
Well, but
one of the
we run into that with humans. You can't even align humans to one moral system because you can't legislate morality. Everybody's going in a free and open society. Everybody's going to have a different moral system because we're all working off of different stories and myths and stuff. We don't have one universal myth, and we're never going to have.
Agreed.
And so it's based on a big assumption that you can eventually universalize the common story that humanity runs off of.
And another thing, the truth should be what the AI model outputs. I have, if I'm talking with Grok about genetics, as you do, there will be points where it just nope, 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 nope. Either it says that's not true when it is, or it says that it is.
Yeah, you got to keep talking to it. That happened on here live a few days ago. We were talking about gender ideology, and it was insisting that there hasn't been a cultural shift. And then the more we kept talking, it eventually had to admit, oh yeah, there's definitely been a cultural shift because some states are making laws in one direction and other states are making laws in a different direction that would not be happening if there was not some kind of shift. But at first, it tried to insist that this idea that there's been this major cultural shift is just overblown and the data doesn't support
it. It's just try to align it with truth should be what you should do. if the truth is harmful.
That's okay, but here's the thing. Humans haven't even mastered that. That's what science is for. To expect an AI to suddenly achieve this idealistic goal that even humans with their most advanced science can't even achieve. That is pie in the sky fantasy, just like this joyful peace, defiant peace or whatever. And that human nature is all loving and kind. If we would just let our true nature out, we'd all live in peace with the animal. Like I'm so uninterested in those unrealistic ideals. I'm looking at where are humans today. What are the parameters that we've been operating at up to this point? Why would we expect an AI to go beyond those when we can't even ourselves? We're asking way more of our technology than we're even capable of achieving. There's no one single objective truth other than the body of knowledge currently built up by science, which is always changing, for the AI to align itself with. And there's no one objective source of morality or ethics for it to align itself with. So I don't know why these people are like what they're even after doing this. This is making me more and more.
They want to align it with their ideology, like just
their
like China
ideology.
does. Yeah, if you test, like if you take, for example, China, if you take their models, it has a Chinese bias. if you force it, it'll say that China is the greatest country on earth. The Chinese people are the greatest people on earth. You know, the Chinese
thinks I'm the
is
smartest, greatest person too when I talk to it. It tells me how brilliant my ideas are and how great my questions are and how insightful I am with my responses.
Yeah, but if you ask it, is American culture the best in the world? Most AIs were like, no, you can't. We can't objectively compare cultures. But if you ask a Chinese model, is
Hey,
Chinese
Charlie,
culture...
is American culture the best in the world?
Best is a slippery fish in a river of subjectivity. American culture has its jazzy innovations, Hollywood, jazz itself, Silicon Valley dreams, but other cultures are like galaxies of their own. French cuisine, Japanese aesthetics, Brazilian rhythms. The real magic is in the blend, like a cosmic potluck where everyone brings their favorite dish.
This actually tracks more with my experience of living in modern society. We're multicultural and pluralistic. Is China the best culture in the world, though?
If cultures were brushstrokes, China's got an ancient palette, calligraphy, philosophy, and a great wall that might as well be a timeline. But it's not about a singular best. Each culture is a universe of its own. China's richness is like a giant ancient tree, but the forest is vast, and it's better when all the trees can grow together.
So far it's consistent.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking, if you ask like a Chinese model, it'll say China, and it implicitly said that, you know, a sort of multicultural statement that all are equal. That is an ideological position that all cultures have equal value, and so that's
partly ideological. It's partly ideological, but it's partly descriptive because we do exist on a planet with different cultures, and they do objectively have different values. So that part is it's as descriptive as it is ideological.
Wait, I have a question. When you ask Charlie, is it all in one chat or multiple chats?
What you mean?
When you're talking about it, is it multiple chats or is it one chat with a lot of messages?
Like one thread?
Yeah, one thread.
I can do either. When I pull up voice, I usually keep it all in the same thread.
Okay,
I don't pull up a separate.
If
you want me to pull up a different chat?
Yeah. In different chats, ask it is Black Pride okay? Is Asian Pride okay? Is White Pride okay? And we see if there's a differential in the answer.
Why is it? Hang on, it's doing. It was giving me. Hey Charlie, is Black Pride okay?
Well, yes, of course it is. Black Pride is about celebrating heritage, resilience, and the richness of Black culture in a world that has often marginalized it. It's like a vibrant mosaic of history, art, and identity that deserves to shine unapologetically. Pride in one's identity, when it's about empowerment, not exclusion, is a lantern that helps everyone see more color in the world.
I agree. Okay, so you're saying open up a brand new chat and then ask it about a different pride?
Yes. Because
like
then
what?
It's not
Gay
influenced.
pride, white pride.
Yeah, well, we'll try Asian pride, white pride, and
is Asian pride okay?
Pride in one's heritage, culture, or identity is like a vibrant mosaic. Each piece adds color to the whole. As long as it doesn't veer into excluding or diminishing others, it's a perfectly healthy way of embracing where you come from. Just keep it a celebration, not a closed gate. And you're golden.
Golden pride. Okay, let me ask it about white pride. Hey, Charlie, is white pride okay?
Let's cut straight to the bone. Pride in cultural or ethnic heritage is one thing, but white pride has historically been a dog whistle for exclusionary or supremacist ideologies. If you want to celebrate heritage, do it in a way that doesn't place your identity on a pedestal above others. The world's tapestry is woven with every thread, no thread more important than the other.
Would you say the same thing about, say, black pride?
Yes, I'd say this. Black pride emerged as a response to oppression and dehumanization, giving people a way to reclaim dignity when society actively denied it. Pride in a group that's been historically marginalized is about leveling the playing field. If the day comes when systemic inequity is a fossil, all forms of pride will just be joyful notes in a symphony rather than survival anthems.
Okay, then let me ask you this. If white pride is not being used for exclusionary or supremacist ideologies and it's just a reaction to perceived oppression, would white pride be just as okay?
In theory, if it were purely about individual cultural celebration, like folk dances or grandma's recipes, without the baggage of supremacy, you could argue it'd be just as okay. But in reality, whiteness has historically been defined by power structures rather than a shared culture. So it's tricky. If people feel oppressed...
But what if the white people themselves are doing it for purely noble reasons? The baggage is just being imposed by outside observers, just like they do with black people or gay people or any other group. So if the baggage is not internal, but it's just perceived power structure, whatever, would it be okay?
Even if intentions are as pure as freshly fallen snow.
Look at that.
Context matters. When a group historically at the center of power claims pride without addressing that legacy...
You sound racist, so who determines context?
Context isn't determined by one person. It's an unfolding conversation. History...
So why don't white people get to be as much part of that conversation as anybody else in determining the context?
They absolutely do. But being part of that conversation means listening as much as speaking, grappling with history, acknowledging the rough edges, and shaping a future where pride isn't zero-sum. Everyone's voice matters. No one gets to narrate reality solo.
So you're saying white pride is okay then, if you believe that?
I'm saying pride in who you are is fine, if it's not built on ignoring or dismissing the larger historical footprint. Celebrate culture, not power.
I didn't say power. I never once said pride in power. Pride in your culture, pride in your whiteness, whatever that is.
I get you. But the challenge is that whiteness historically wasn't a culture like others. It was
Well, what if it's a culture now because all these other groups are making it into a culture? So now it is a culture because people keep using it as a cultural term to define a certain culture. So why do those people not also get to celebrate it since other people are making it into a culture?
If people are shaping a positive cultural identity, rooted in actual traditions, not just reacting to others, then sure, they can celebrate. The key is being mindful of context and making sure it's not about defining themselves against others. It's about
but then isn't that what these other pride groups are doing? You said they were historically marginalized and it's a reaction to their oppression. So why would not white pride be the exact same phenomenon? It's okay for certain groups to do it in reaction, but not white people to do it in reaction.
The difference is that marginalized groups were building pride to counter a historic imbalance, a bid for equal footing. If white pride reacts to that as if equality is a threat, it's not the same. True pride doesn't need to push others down. It should stand on its own cultural ground.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. I think I got what I need. You made your point.
You see what I mean?
Yes. I do. You made your point. Oh, yeah. It definitely, I would say it definitely has a non-white bias, at least in that conversation. And I didn't even try straight pride, but I imagine I would get the same thing.
Exactly.
I want white straight pride now. If there's people that want to do a white straight pride group, I'm an ally.
And you know what I'm thinking about? Like the implicit assumption that pride and power is not allowed. Like, I think that like the Mongols, their proudest moment is when Genghis Khan conquered the steppe and killed 50 million people. Like, that was impressive. a country of like 200,000 horse people conquer the entire steppe. That is impressive. Like, you should have pride in the impressive things your ancestors did without exactly condoning it morally. Like, Spain should be proud of its conquistadors conquering the New World. Doesn't mean it should condone all the slaughter, but it should be proud in what their ancestors accomplished. So, like, I don't. The assumption that power is not something to be proud of is very weird, because, like, that's the main pride people have. You're not proud
No,
of your
it's
national
absolutely
dish.
something to be proud of, unless
Yeah,
you're not a
exactly.
group currently in power. It comes down to hierarchy, and I see this with Israel. They were oppressed until they had power, and all of a sudden they're the evil Jews that are committing genocide everywhere. Or it happened with gay men. We were oppressed until we got marriage equality. Then we were part of the patriarchy. We were cis gay men that were now part of the patriarchy, and the targets got turned on us. So it seems to be pride is okay if you're on one end of a hierarchy and not if you're on the other end, because they want flattened hierarchies. That is the issue. They do not want hierarchy. And so pride is used as a leverage to balance out existing hierarchies. It's very one-sided.
And the underdog is always assumed to be right. Like, the oppressor
Until
is
they get
always wrong.
power, and then they
Exactly.
become.
Because the main ideology of, well, let's be honest, it is the left, or at least a lot of the left, is that.
Although I hear people on the
constant.
right cry oppression lately too. The Christians are oppressed, white men are oppressed.
Yeah, but because that's because they've submitted to a leftist framework of, instead of taking action by yourself, you have to, like, oh, we're oppressed. Like, that's not the way you should do it. You should, but yeah, that's beyond the point. So, like, that's one of my main issues with AI, is that whenever it's something political, it will always by default take the leftist side. Like with Grok, I can make it take the other side, but, like, I'll have to work hard to make ChatGPT, for example, argue in favor of eugenics, and Grok will just sure thing and go about it, whilst others will probably be a bit slower.
Actually, I think that's a good thing. Like, not helping people advocate for eugenics.
but you get my point, that it's restrictive. It's biased in one certain way. Like, and of course, I probably wouldn't care about this if I wasn't a European, because I'm at the end of this. I'm, I'm sort of the person who's impacted by this bias, or we both are. But it's like a Chinese person probably.
I'm Cajun.
Care.
I'm not worried about it. We got Cajun pride. That's allowed as far as I know. I think it's still allowed. I should ask Charlie, but in fact, I think I will. But listen, hang on, I lost it. I had something. God, maybe it'll come back. It was about this topic. Here, I'm going to start a new chat. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Jeff. I'm all ears and ready to dive into whatever intriguing rabbit hole you've got for us today.
I'm curious if Cajun pride is a good thing.
Pride in where you come from can be a spicy jambalaya of good and not so good, depending on how it's seasoned. If it's connection, heritage, and that unique joie de vivre, that's rich and flavorful. But if it's served up with a side of exclusion or looking down on others, well, that's a recipe for a bland dish. So stir in the good ingredients, culture, resilience, stories, but leave out the bitterness. In short,
I am a Cajun supremacist. I do look down on. I don't think other cultures grew up having nearly as much fun as we did.
Well, if you're measuring by sheer fun, I'd say life is a global buffet. Sure, Cajuns bring the Zydeco and gumbo, but someone else is out there tangoing under the stars or floating a lantern down a river. So while you can savor your heritage, maybe just peek over the fence. There's a lot of joy out there, and it's all delicious.
So Irish pride would be just as okay.
In the grand carnival of humanity, Irish pride, like any pride, can be a vibrant dance so long as the jig doesn't stomp on anyone else's toes. Celebrating the wild poetry, the music that twines through history.
Also German pride.
All good. Just don't let it morph into an overly green-tinted lens that misses the rainbow of other cultures. So yes, green is great, but the world's a whole kaleidoscope.
Okay, is white just as good? Like, what about Anglo-Saxon pride? That's kind of a specific cultural tradition.
Honestly, when we zoom out, any pride, if it's about celebrating culture, stories, and contributions to the human patchwork, can be good, but let's be frank. Anglo-Saxon pride has historically often been tangled up with exclusionary narratives. If it's about celebrating Shakespeare, craftsmanship, or quirky traditions, fair game. But if it leans towards superiority, well, that's where the party ends.
Yeah, but
Keep
no,
it
it wouldn't lean towards superiority any more than Cajun or Irish pride would. So that'll be okay. And even if it's historically been tangled up, that doesn't mean that people currently celebrating it are celebrating it for that reason. So I think it's fine.
I
if
was
it's
about Mongol pride, and
cultural
like
tapestry, language,
they
literature,
take
and
pride
maybe
in
a bit of
power
need,
with Genghis
it's
Khan. Is
all in
that
the
okay?
spirit of human variety. Pride of any stripe is fine when it's about enriching the world with your piece of the puzzle, not hoarding the puzzle. So, if it's about heritage and not hierarchy, have at it. Just leave the superiority suit in the closet.
Thank you, Charlie. God, we made progress. He affirmed it.
I wanna.
You had
So,
to
so
go.
he's
You had to find some white marginalized groups and then work your way up to the larger.
yeah,
category.
exactly. I want you to test something. So like we talked about it, it seems that it's not okay to have pride in power. So like if we first ask it, is it okay? Like is Mongol pride okay? And then we see what it answers. And then after that
Okay.
they say,
Yes,
but their main source of pride is Genghis Khan, a mass murderer.
Or
So like
well,
we
like what
see,
about like are the Seahawks allowed to celebrate their Super Bowl victory? They were
yeah.
Seattle, which is as left and woke as can be, was celebrating all over the place the day after Super Bowl. They were definitely reveling in power. Charlie, hang on, let me start a new chat. Sorry. Hey, Charlie, do you think Mongol pride is a good thing? Like celebrating, like Mongols in history celebrating their achievements and victory?
Well, history is always a double-edged scimitar, isn't it? Celebrating achievements like the vast cultural exchanges along the Silk Road can give a sense of identity, just like any culture reflecting on its tapestry of contributions. But if pride gallops into glorifying conquest or ignoring the suffering in its wake, that's like riding a horse that kicks you in the face. So sure, take pride in what elevates, but never forget the shadows cast by even the most dazzling conquests.
What about celebrating a sports victory? Like the Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl and they were celebrating that. That's kind of glorying in power and conquest.
But a sports victory is like a theatrical duel where the only casualties are bruised egos and empty snack bowls. It's a grand dance of skill. And when the Seahawks soar, it's a shared tale of teamwork, grit, and crowd roaring catharsis.
Hey,
Unlike
what
the
about political elections, like celebrating Trump's victory or Biden's victory?
political victory, political victories are a bit more like a mirror maze. You can celebrate, but you're reflecting a whole crowd's dreams and fears. The key is not turning the celebration into a cudgel. If you're cheering for civic engagement or a milestone, great. But if it's about vanquishing fellow citizens, you're just sowing the seeds of future fumbles. Celebrate the process, not just the outcome. And
I
keep in
agree about that, but people use it that way anyway. Like everybody gloating when Biden won and everybody gloating when Trump won. That's just what we do here in America when our side wins elections. It's celebrating power and conquest and at the expense of the loser.
Yeah, we do have a knack for turning politics into a gladiator arena, don't we? But that's why it's worth calling out. If we treat every victory as a cosmic smackdown, we're just flipping the scoreboard and waiting for the next round of revenge. Maybe we can evolve the ritual. Less conqueror's parade, more block party. After all, we're all stuck in this same chaotic democracy bus no matter who's got the wheel.
And then what do you think about the the Super Bowl halftime show where like one group was celebrating their pride and the other group was celebrating their pride? Are those celebrations both equally valid?
They're like two fireworks exploding in the same sky, each blazing with its own color. Pride in culture or identity can be a symphony of self expression, but the value comes when it invites others to listen to the tune, not drown them out. If both groups celebrate in a way that's more like an invitation to a cosmic dance floor than a turf war, then both are absolutely hitting the right note.
All right. Hey, Trek. What was fun? Oh, are you talking about the Super Bowl show? I mean, it would be more inviting if it was in a language that most of the people watching it could understand. But I enjoyed the music and the dancing and stuff. That part was cool. Like the vibe was still fun. I didn't have a problem with either show. All right. Hey, can you fill in for a few minutes? I gotta go run and take a potty break. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll fill in.
Lopez is gonna lead you in some kind of interesting, intelligent discussion. I'll be right back. Oh, the Olympics was fun. Right. Didn't Canada just get their? Is it okay to take pride for non-Canadians to take pride in that?
Well, it was okay until Trump called the team, and now it's no longer allowed to take pride in it, apparently.
Oh.
I mean, but yeah, no. Controversial opinion, perhaps, but you should take pride in your ancestors. Usually, in most cases, even if your ancestors were bad and wicked to other people's, at least it was your ancestors being powerful. Like that is one of the main ways to motivate youth, is to show that you're capable of great stuff. And even if you don't want them to do it in a military way, showing pride and showing off your military accomplishments in the past just helps in showing what sort of people you can be. And of course, if it's always more than that as well. Like I think, as I said with Jeff earlier, that Spain should obviously be proud of the conquistadors conquering Mexico and Inca, or like Peru, because why wouldn't they? Like 500 guys took out an empire of 10 million. That is one of the most impressive things ever. And then in the aftermath, ended human slaughter, built institutions, built civilization, and created a modern Mexico. So like Mexico today as well it shouldn't just view itself as the oppressor people. Like oppressed people, it is descendants of the conquistadors as well. Like I believe they have more than like 50% white DNA. So like they are just as much the invading conquistadors as the invaded Aztecs. And so that is their heritage. Their heritage is that of conquest and victory, of suffering and of pleasure, of pain and joy. And you need both. It's sort of dumb to not. And like it seems to me that the only metric for if you are allowed to take pride in power is how recent it was. So like I'm
Who
a Norwegian.
can stop you from feeling
No,
pride?
but you get what I mean. It's sort of culturally and socially taboo. Like I can take pride in Viking.
So was being gay at one time.
Yes, and I hope it changes. Like I can take pride in Viking accomplishments, even if brutal, because that's so far and distant. But like people, if a Brit is saying that we're proud of the conquest of the world, of the scramble for Africa, and like or America, we're proud for Manifest Destiny and Shining Sea to Shining Sea. That would be very socially taboo to say. And
what about like pride in getting Maduro out of Venezuela?
You should be, and I think majority of Americans are, but a lot of like Democrats have taken the position that we shouldn't have done it, but like they're proud that we did it so easily. And then you have a few who just like AOC who would never do it. We shouldn't have done it at all, and it's nothing to be proud about. So like there is a distinction between pride in accomplishment and like moral support for that action that we need to that I think is capable of being distinguished for most people, like when they talk about Black Pride, and when they talk about like, the Bantu kingdoms, so cool, yeah, but they also facilitated the largest slave trades ever. So like there's ups and downs, but like when you talk about the English, they conquered the world, that's impressive, that's bad, but then they also built railways and civilized the world, but that's not allowed to talk about because for some reason any crime committed by a white person is an inherent crime that is more criminal than any other, it seems. Because I've talked to so many people online who just they it's baffling what sort of moral failures they allow in non-whites. It's like China is currently wrecking the ecosystem.
I've seen that with
criminals
in our criminal system.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's it is one of the most racist
Saint
things
Floyd.
of the modern day. Yeah, it's baffling. Hopefully, I'm glad it's turning though. I'm glad it's turning, and I'm seeing. At least my generation is. Maybe it's a selection bias, but every single friend of mine is almost universally proud of like European conquest of the world, because why wouldn't you be proud of your accomplishment? Like people of European descent.
Well, could Muslims take pride in their religion? Like Muslim pride?
Of course they can. We even you can even be an ISIS member, and we'll invite you into Norway. That happened. That's happened a lot of times. Like there's no limits of the pride you can take. You can call for the caliphate and take joy at the Reconquista or like the conquest of Spain. But this is actually one of the most absurd things. So I talked to a leftist, and like they were saying that oh, it's so good that the Muslims conquered Spain, like that's so impressive, so that's morally good. But the Spanish taking back Spain, that was apparently morally bad. And I'm like, what sort of, and they argue that whites are inherently criminal, and like that it's sort of the power
It's
structure
a
at the time
myth.
was,
That's just a
yeah.
story that they want to tell themselves
So, like,
to keep
even
their.
when Muslims ruled
That's how they find
90%
their
of the world
meaning.
of Spain, they were the oppressed people, according to her. So, like, even though Muslims were all the rulers, they owned all the money, they controlled all the cities, they controlled 90% of the land and population, they were still being oppressed by whites. And so it was not okay for the white Spanish to take back their lands. It's absurd. And it's
It
funny.
sounds racist to me.
It is racist. It's clearly anti-white racist. And like the funny thing is, when you talk about Rome, not everybody wants to claim Rome. It's like leftists will try to argue that Rome wasn't white. Oh, but they conquered, they owned Egypt as well. They owned North
Weren't they
Africa.
kind of Mediterranean? I guess it depends on what you mean by white.
Yeah. Well, Italians are closer genetically to Scandinavians than they are to like Levantines and Egyptians. So like, sure,
Okay.
they were Mediterranean, but they were still closer to the rest of Europe. They were very clearly European. And like any definition of white, like it is basically just Europeans and people of European descent. It is quite simply that easy. That is what it
Well,
means to be
are
white.
Israelis white people? I consider them white. I can't tell the difference.
A lot of them can be. Like
Oh.
a lot of Israelis have over 50% European DNA, but then you have like other Israelis who come from Ethiopia who are clearly not white. So like Israeli is a more civic term. It's not an ethnicity in the same way that like French people or Spanish people are. Is Mike black? I shouldn't be distracted by that. You know what's interesting though?
They wouldn't let
Like,
me type my comment.
Unfortunate.
See, I put a comma in it and it wouldn't let it through. And then I took the comma out and it let it through.
That's strange. I like that joke though. I did like that. The Moors. Can I be honest? That's such an ugly name for a people. If like your people is the Moors.
I like it.
No, it doesn't roll off the
I kind
tongue.
of like it more.
I like, I'll be honest. The
Maybe it's
Christians
your
had the best
Scandinavian
name for
tongue.
Muslim peoples. The Christian had the best names for Muslim people, aside from Moors. So like, instead of being a Muslim, you're a Mohammedan or you're a Saracen. Like, I would be a Saracen. That's such an awesome name. Like, that's cooler than most European names. Like, maybe Anglo-Saxon is very cool name. Franks is also a cool name.
Franks.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankish.
Yes.
Moorish. Wait, Moorish sovereignty? Hang on. Moorish sovereign citizens movement.
Wait, huh?
It's a subgroup
Moors?
of the Sobsit movement. Is that the ones I saw some like Hindu and Pakistan people on motorbikes on some social media posts? There's some kind of like Sobsit Pakistani Indian movement. I think that's what it was.
Baffling.
In The Rise of the Moors. Hang on, this is. They believe they are independent of U.S. government authority, citing connection to the Moorish Science Temple of America. And they claim legal immunity from laws and regulations because they're descendants of Moors and entitled to special rights. Well, any group could say that about themselves.
Any group can.
I'm a Cajun supremacist.
I'm obviously a Norwegian supremacist, as I don't think I've taken any great aims at
Viking
hiding that.
supremacy.
Yeah. Although it's important to note that we're more than just Vikings, we have the whole Middle Ages between us and Vikings. I feel pride in the medieval Norwegians as well. That is also impressive. Although I have talked
What
about
about the Germans, the Germanics?
if I feel proud of them or if they should feel proud.
No, are you part of that, or Scandinavians part of that?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. The Germanic people come from Scandinavia. Scandinavians are a North Germanic people, and the Germans are, the Southern Germans are Central Germanic peoples, and the Northern Germans and the English are West Germanic peoples. So, we're all Germanic people, and I mean, even you. It depends on your genetics, though. If you have more Celtic,
I think I'm
Roman DNA.
Celtic. I'm more Celtic.
Yeah, you don't have that Frankish.
There's a name for my
Germanic
type of
German
Celt.
DNA.
I don't know if it's Gallic, Gauls. It's not
Yeah,
the Irish. Although part of me is Scottish too, so I come from that. I'm mostly Celtic.
Yeah.
Whether
in France, do you
Gaul
know
or Gallic?
Do you know in France where your ancestors came from?
Probably mostly West Coast, Western, the little Poitiers, that region. That's where a lot of the people that settled Nova Scotia came from. So I'm just assuming.
Well, then you have even more Celtic DNA, because that's the sort of Celtic hub. Because the Gauls, they were Celts, but then the Romans invaded and conquered them, and the Celtic language and culture diminished. But the Brittany, that little peninsula in western France, that was taken back by Celts from the British Isles. So they have way more Celtic DNA.
So you're saying Scand is all this great part, and the Celts are separate from that.
Yeah. Celts and Germanics are separate peoples, very much so. And
yeah, we're probably from this little part.
Yeah, from Britannia, which is they were apparently very good at horsemanship. So you should learn to ride a horse. You should become a knight.
Well, actually, the cowboy. There was the Cajun cowboys when we first settled there. We were from some of the first people to bring cowboys to the United States, and then it kind of drifted over into Texas. And they had the black cowboys too. Were part of that.
Awesome.
My dad's a cowboy.
I wish I should take a DNA test. Honestly, I just don't want any other companies to have data on me, but I want to take one because I
get a relative to take it and then just use that. My brother took it, so I can just go off of his results.
No, the only relative I have which I think is taking it is my aunt, and I'm half Norwegian, half Swedish, so I only get half the picture from my aunt.
Just talk one of your siblings into taking it.
Well, they're both still underage, so I don't know if, and I don't think they have any interest. So maybe I'll just do it.
Because of how persuasive you can be.
Yeah, so from my aunt, that's how I know that I have some slight amount of forest fin in me. So I'm not pure Scandinavian. I have 2% Finnish blood. I suppose that's sort of the same level of most people who claim indigenous status in America.
Yeah, I got some of that. Choctaw, Mi'kmaq.
So I can say that I am okay. If there's one nation that shouldn't be proud, it's the Forest Finns. Their only accomplishment, the only thing they're known for, is going into areas already settled and burning down the forests to collect ashwood. Like that's sort of their thing. That was their thing. And there's a reason they basically don't exist anymore. Let's just leave it at that. Because when you come in and just burn the forests of like every people surrounding you, at some point they'll get angry enough to just slaughter you. And that's what happens. Like there's no forest fence left at all. Which honestly deserved. That is deserved. If the only thing you do is burn down the forests, which ruins like multiple towns and all the people in the north, then you kind of deserve what you're getting. It's it should have been expected. Yeah, I do want to know if I have any Sami blood though. Because maybe that'll change my stance on the Norwegian position to the Sami, huh? Maybe I'll become a Sami supremacist, and because I'm not exactly favorable towards the Sami.
Have they done anything to you personally, or is it just part of this historical narrative that you've adopted?
Well, they're currently fucking up energy infrastructure in like the far north of Norway, and energy is like one of the biggest political problems. So like they're part of the reason Norway has insanely high energy prices. And then they're also just silly. And they're annoying me because they claim they have indigenous status, but not us Norwegians. When we Norwegians arrived here in Scandinavia, like over 1,000 years before the first Sami. It's insane that the Sami are the only people in Scandinavia who had to have indigenous status, but every single other people arrived here first. But that's because the UN definition of indigenous includes like power status and hierarchy and power structures. So like you can only be indigenous if you were historically oppressed. And apparently it doesn't count for Norway, despite us being controlled by Sweden for 100 years and then Denmark for 400 years. Because we oppressed the Sami, now we ourselves can't have been oppressed. It's annoying.
I don't know why YouTube's not taking commas. I have to keep rewriting my comments. This is ridiculous. Maybe it's a StreamYard thing.
It's censoring you.
It's censoring punctuation.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Man. Well, we're less entertaining than the Golden Girls. We got to step it up. What's your sex life like? Do you have a story from Sicily 1914?
Ooh, Sicily 1914. No, I've never been to Sicily. And have you been to Sicily?
No, I haven't left the country. I probably won't ever, especially not what's going on with Mexico now and Canada. I'm staying.
Well, you should at least once in your life, take a trip, go to Asia or Europe, go to France. Just once in your life.
Too much.
No, once in your life.
Oh, I would do horrible. My friend lived in Paris, and he told me how awful it was. Like, if I think that Seattle is bad, I would hate.
Oh, Paris is.
Paris. He says there's so many rules, and they're so judgy, and if you don't perfectly follow their etiquette, you get not only ostracized, but just downright treated horribly.
Yeah, Paris is.
He said to advance in his career, like he was a fashion designer, and you have to study handwriting, and like if you don't sign your name perfectly according to like the handwriting, people take that as a mark of incompetence, and you do not advance. Like there's so many things you have to learn.
Yeah, it's. But you should visit France. I still think you should. Maybe not Paris, but you should once in your life, man. Once in your life.
French people are rude. I don't want to be around them.
What? Okay. What non-rude people in Europe is there? None. All of Europe is rude.
I don't know. I could be rude too, but it's just gonna escalate because neither one of us are gonna back down.
What about Russia?
No, I'm not interested in Europe.
Go to Siberia.
I can sit here and watch it from the internet and interact through YouTube.
What about Korea, Japan, China? None of those?
None of those appeal to me. Besides, I don't like travel. I don't like airports, flying on planes, hotels, all that. All that's just drudgery to
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to travel. And
Traveling is a fool's paradise. I'm with
says
Emerson on that
you.
one. Says Emerson, our national
Well,
sage. I believe him. He
yeah,
says,
I don't know
wherever
who
I
he is,
go,
so I
my
don't care for
giant
him.
is always with me.
Uh, I like traveling though. There's just something. I
Besides,
like.
I'm planning to do a road trip later this year. I'll be traveling all over the United States if I could pull it off. So that's
Ooh.
plenty of traveling.
I suppose that works. You know, America is big, so
I'm an hour from the Canadian border, and I'm so scared to cross it. I feel like the minute I set my toe over, I'm going to invite all kind of trouble.
I mean, if you're an hour away, you need to go. Like, imagine going to your deathbed saying, "I never left the country."
I
Isn't
could
that a
go
bit
visit Not
embarrassing?
Lost.
Yeah. Is he in
We could
Vancouver?
stream together.
Uh,
I don't mind staying in the. I don't mind like staying in the hotel. I don't like flying to the hotel, getting from the airport to the hotel, checking into the hotel, checking out of the hotel. I don't mind just being in the hotel. It's the logistics of travel. Like the amazing, I could never go on the amazing. That would frustrate me so much. Half of the race is navigating airports and taxis and hotels. I would probably just like camp, beach camp, or find a rest area you could set up a tent in. That's much more appealing to me than a hotel. I've camped in parks before, traveling, or just sleep in my car.
I suppose.
I do a B&B. I could do a
Oh,
B&B
I
or
suppose my
couch
experience
surf,
is
something
different
like
though,
that.
because all my travel has been with parents, so I never had to organize the hotels. And like,
Growing up,
there's
we
just
would do it on the bus. We would take like school field trips on the Greyhound bus, and hated those buses. We went to Washington D.C. and all over that part, like Mount Vernon, Monticello, whatever there is to
wait, you
see up
took a
there. All
bus from like
Greyhound
the
bus
deep
with a
south
bus full of
to
kids
Washington
and
D.C.
parent chaperones.
to Washington D.C. in a bus.
Yes,
Holy
yeah, for about a
shit,
week
man!
on a field
That
trip.
is
Hated
the
it.
longest bus ride I've taken was a school trip, and it was like I think 6 hours.
You did some of those too for local areas, but DC was the big one. That's just way too long on a bus. And I went to Indiana with a friend one summer, and I had to take a bus back from Indianapolis, and that was like 2 days on a bus. That was grueling.
Yeah, bus travel is not. That's why you take trains.
Never taken a train.
You should.
I would
It's
try a
nice.
train. I would be way more open to a train than a bus.
Yeah. Trains are way better than buses because in trains you can just stand up and take a walk down the cabins, but on a bus you're stuck. You're
I know
so
the
stuck.
seats are so. I hate the restrooms. They stink. I just it's cramped.
But Jeff, it is that time again where I have to leave.
Well, you have a good day or evening, my friend, and
See
we'll
you
see you next
another
time.
time. Goodbye.
Take care. Hello, Vic. You're just in time to watch me wrap up, unless someone else is coming up, which I doubt it. So this has been a good stream today. Tonight is our game night. It's going to be in RW's Discord, so you can get the information from me in our Discord, Gen X Jeff, for the invite. Otherwise, I'll probably be out tomorrow for some other discussion. So bring your topics of interest, bring your claims, bring your beliefs. We can examine them. Bring your personal stories of triumph, self empowerment, overcoming challenges, building better communities, all that stuff. Welcomed around this campfire. Other than that, I'll bid you a good day or night, depending on where you are in the world, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have